morning. Welcome, Dr. Chef Robert Dell'Amore with the Power of Food Productions. It's my pleasure, always a pleasure to work with the lovely Lori Akins, Islip Library. Welcome everyone this Saturday morning. We're going to rock and roll. One of my favorite dishes. If you love pasta, you're going to love this dish. If you love savory and aromatic spices, you're going to love this dish. Pasta amore. You see I have the red jacket on for pasta of love. Pretty great recipe I came up with. A combination of spices that I've been using for a couple of years now, and we're adding it to a chicken dish with pasta. I think you're going to love it. Okay, simple. You can make this totally vegetarian if you like. I'm going to add some cooked chicken at the end. But if you want to eliminate the chicken and add beans instead, you can certainly do that and make it vegetarian. Okay. Okay, pasta amore. What is it? Pasta of love. There's just so much love coming out of this dish because the different savory ingredients that we use in capers and olives and sun-dried tomatoes. There's a big bang here. And then we're going to introduce these amazing spices. And first thing we're going to do is talk about the coriander seed and the cumin seed. So you can purchase both of these in powder form, very easy to use. I love to toast them first. Buy them in the whole seed form and then toast them gently in a dry pan, and then use a mortar and pestle to crush them. And the bouquet, the aroma is just incredible. It's insane. Okay, so to toast these, what we're going to do is we're going to just simply give ourselves a nice, even one layer of the seeds. And again, this technique is great for toasting sesame seeds to make your homemade tahini. But these coriander seeds are going to bring a citrusy note to this dish, and combined with the cumin seed, again, both of them are toasted. It's just a real wow sensation. Okay, so to toast these, we're going to keep our heat on medium to high. You have to be around the pan. You can't be on the phone or doing something else because you don't want to burn them. Again, in a dry pan. And what I like to do is take the pan off the heat once they start to smoke. I take the pan off the heat and just give it a shake and then put it back on. Now when you start to see the smoke, those are the oils in the seeds that are cooking off, and it's just going to enhance the aroma and bouquet of these spices. Okay, this is what the toasting does. Again, in a dry pan, one layer, shake it until it turns a little shade darker and brown. Okay, and then those are placed in a container, and then we'll do the cumin seeds the same way. Okay, amazing whole cumin seeds, so much different than the cumin powder. Okay, all right, so that's what we use our small pan for, to dry roast or dry toast the seeds in the whole form. Now once they're toasted, I have them here, the combination. Those are going to go right in my mortar and pestle. And this is what I love to do with these seeds, is crush them, and again bringing out the most amazing citrusy notes from the coriander and an amazing earthy deliciousness from the toasted cumin seed. Also, when you toast the seed and then crush it, it just pulverizes into powder due to the toasting process. Okay, so this is going to be finished in a minute here. Okay, and again, the combination of these two spices, the coriander and cumin seed, is divine. Okay, these are done. And I've already got some prepared here as well. Okay, so we're going to move on to our onions. Okay, I've got 2 onions here. What I could do is dice this tonight. Today I'm going to slice this. So I'm going to take my knife So I want this onion to cook fast and really nicely, so I slice it nice and thin. Okay, we'll get our gas going here. A little bit of oil, olive oil, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Any oil that you like, avocado, pure olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, canola oil, whatever is your preference. I'm going for big flavor and big nutrition here with the extra virgin olive oil. Okay? And we're going to prevent it from burning by keeping an eye on it. Now, when you prepare this at home, if you have a chef's pot or something like a wok, something with a high wall, that's really going to be useful in this dish because you're just adding ingredients and that high wall works well. Here I'm going to use this saute pan so you can see a little easier for demonstration purposes. Okay, to test the heat of the oil, the temperature, I'm going to add just a sliver of my onion and wait to hear a sizzle. Once I hear a sizzle, I'm ready to go. Now, you see I've sliced the onion in half and then in quarters. And then I can slice nice and thinly. Okay? So I've got a sizzle going here, so I'm going to introduce my onions like so. Okay. And the onions are really one of the stars of this dish. We're going to cook them down, caramelize them along with this amazing ingredient which I love to use, my sun-dried tomato. Look into the health benefits of the sun-dried. You notice here I'm using my red cutting board so I don't stain my green cutting board with these concentrated forms of the tomato. Okay. So I'm going to stack the sun-dried one on top of the other, and then I'm going to slice through them and produce a julienne, thinly sliced sun-dried. Okay, you can see how thick. Then I'll turn the knife 90 degrees. You could introduce the sun-dried like this, julienne, but I like to dice it up. And this is going in right away with my onions. And this is some combination. Once we introduce the sun-dried and they begin to cook down and caramelize, they're going to actually paint the onion red. It's amazing. Okay, concentrated form of the tomato, so it's going in really early. What about this amazing superfood? Do you know that this red pepper has 3 times the vitamin C of an orange? Twice the vitamin C of a green pepper. Yellow, orange, red peppers. More color, more health. So more vitamin C in these colorful peppers versus the green. Now, I like to have on hand something that I can put my garbage in on the table rather than going back and forth to the garbage pail. So this is my little tray here for my garbage. Make sure this isn't burning. Okay. Now, I want everyone to take a look inside this pepper. You'll see 4 white, semi-bitter ribs. They attach the seed pod to the pepper. I'm going to slice around them by placing my knife on either side of two of these ribs. Okay, and just slicing once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and here are the ribs. Now I'm going to take the top off, right? This is going to be discarded, and now I have these amazing, I call them pepper fillets. I'm going to stack them one on top of the other. Don't forget the top here. And what about this guy here? This guy's going on top too. And I'm going to slice in a julienne fashion. I can slice right through the entire pepper in 30 seconds. Just by maintaining a little pressure and keeping it all intact. So I remove the ribs. I first top the pepper by taking the top off, and now I have these beautiful strips of the pepper. I could add these to the pan in this fashion, but they're going to take longer to cook. So I'm going to cut them into a rough dice. And I want these peppers in the pan as soon as possible because I need to cook them down. I want them nice and soft. And let's go. Nice big pepper here. Okay. So we have sun-dried, onion, pepper. Now every chef in every restaurant, on every cooking show, would add salt to this. Instead, I'm just using black pepper and that's it. No salt on my table. I'm going to show you a little trick in about a minute or so, or two, how to speed up the caramelization via the introduction of the balsamic vinegar. We're going to get to that in a minute. You'll also notice there's no oil in the pan. It's been absorbed by all the ingredients, and this is exactly what I want. I don't want a pool of oil. I could always add oil if I want to. Okay, so again, as a vegetarian dish, this is the bomb. So much going on here with the sun-dried and the pepper, and now we're going to just bring it up another notch. Now, I really want these onions to cook down. So we're going to give it some dedicated time here and turn up my heat to high. I added my black pepper. I'm going to add just a little balsamic now. Now watch this trick. Okay, I add the balsamic and I don't touch it. You can cover it if you want to. I like to let it evaporate off. You're actually cooking off the sugars in the balsamic, around 2 grams of sugar, no salt in the balsamic. By the way, if you want to make this an Asian stir fry, so easy to flip it up. Just add some low sodium soy sauce, teriyaki, or hoisin sauce. Now, you notice I didn't flip it because I want that level, that layer of balsamic to now caramelize, which it's doing. And if I move it, it's not going to caramelize. By allowing it to sit, I'm letting that layer of balsamic form a glaze. And now when I move it, we're going to see a change in the color. Immediately. You can see it went a darker shade of brown. Not burning it, right? So caramelization is going to bring out big flavor, the maximum sweetness, and it resembles a caramel color, a light goldish brown. Okay. So now I will add my spices that I prepared. Amazing aroma. Some green olives, which I don't believe are on the recipe list, but I just love them, and I love them whole. You can chop them up. And watch this trick. Just a little bit of the juice from the olives. So there's my salt. What about some capers? Is this going to be amazing or what? I'm going to use the back of this fork here. Okay, I'm going to go crazy with the capers because I love capers. If you don't have the olives, you can use the water from the capers. Okay? So just look what's going on here. What if we added mushrooms to this? Beans. I've done it many, many times. Okay. Now, we didn't add our garlic. We didn't add our ginger. First, I'm going to process my ginger, which is right here. Look at this bad boy. Okay? I'm going to take this guy like this. I'm going to slice like this, and then like this. So I've got this. This is heaven to me, right here. Look at this beautiful piece. So much going on right here. Okay, I'm going to peel this with my trusty peeler. My second favorite utensil in the kitchen. After my chef's knives and paring knives, this guy gets the most usage. Peeling fruit and vegetables every day. Okay, so I've got this nice piece of ginger. I'm going to slice it in half. Maybe one more time. Now I lay each, I stack them again, and I produce a nice thin, very small, very thin julienne. And when it's this thin, we call it a matchstick julienne. So again, look at this ginger, how thin it is, okay? So I can mince this ginger in 1 minute, okay? Just take this like this, and then come and just cut across like so, and my ginger's ready. So in this fashion, while you're prepping the ginger and the garlic, this is cooking down, you notice. I'm going to rock the knife here. And what's really cool about the ginger is, don't worry if you have some big pieces of ginger, they're phenomenal. They're delicious on the fork, on the palate. A nice big piece of ginger is surprisingly delicious. Okay, you can see that this is cooking down. Nope, not burning at all. Next is my garlic. I'm going to go with a couple of cloves, 3 nice cloves of garlic here. So I'm slicing it very thinly, then again I'm going to rock my chef's knife like so. Produce a nice minced garlic. You can put it in slice, whatever your preference, guys. It's up to you. That's the beauty of cooking, right? You have 100% control over what you're feeding your family, what you're feeding yourself, what you're putting into your body first thing in the morning. Your healthy breakfast choices that are made at home, not by ordering out, right? Oh my God, this is just insane. Okay, so again, the addition of the cumin and the cumin and the coriander seed it cannot be underestimated. I'm going to add a little bit more, and now we're going to add our chicken. So, if you have raw chicken, dark meat, white meat, you're going to cut it to the same size so it cooks evenly, doesn't overcook, doesn't undercook. I'm using some chicken breast here from a rotisserie chicken with the skin on. And I've got some delicious breast meat here. Look at this. So I'm going to just slice them down the middle and then cut across. And I've got some beautiful ready-made chicken for this dish. Again, if you want to keep this vegetarian, I would add beans to this now. Some cabbage would be amazing, some red cabbage to give it color. But we've got a lot of color going on here. This chicken's going right in my pan. And you can adjust the spices as you go, okay? I will add a little bit of olive oil here. No. Olive oil here, and then a little bit more balsamic, just to bring it to another level. And what happens if you have an older pan that it sticks in the middle, the food sticks? If you're worried about the food sticking, you don't want to add butter or more oil, you just add a little water to it and cover it, okay? And that's going to help cook through a little faster with the covering. With the cover, it's going to help steam through the veggies, and the water will cook off, and just a great way to prevent the food from sticking to a pan, okay? Okay, this is pasta amore. We're going to add this to a bowl of spaghetti here. Now, if I had a deeper pan, I would add the pasta to this pan and mix it together. Okay, so everything coats the pasta perfectly. That's the best way to serve it. Because I have so much in the pan right now, I don't want to add that pasta to this. I'm just going to add this to that and mix it together. It's up to you. How about a little more fresh cracked black pepper? Hey, for those of you that like it spicy, when it's finished cooking, you could add cayenne pepper. I really recommend not using the cayenne when you're cooking, because the heat with the cayenne will devastate your nasal passages. It can irritate your eyes, so don't do it. If you want to add heat while cooking, how about some serrano peppers, jalapeno peppers, habaneros. Okay, I've been using them lately in all my salads, mincing them up. Just love it. I would love to put a habanero right in here now, but I didn't include it in the recipe. Okay, this is not a cream base. There's no, you could add a touch of red sauce to this and just give it a little fresh tomato flavor, but you really don't need it because you have the sun-dried tomato. But this is what I'm talking about. Perfection. If you're using raw chicken, you just want to cook it till it reaches 165 degrees. You can take the biggest piece that you see and cut it in half and make sure it's cooked through. Don't want to overcook that white meat, okay? And this is done. This is absolutely done. We could add some fresh herbs at the end, some parsley, cilantro. Really, this dish doesn't need it. There's so much going on here. We're going to plate this over our pasta. And I really suggest you try this dish and tell me it is not one of the best pasta dishes you've ever had. Capers, green olives, Spanish olives, sun-dried tomato. The real trick to this dish, to really bring it over the top, is the addition of these spices, which are now flavoring the chicken. All these vegetables. And it just adds a citrusy, earthy flavor with the addition of these spices. Let me show you a close-up of this beautiful dish here. So much going on in this dish, I can't tell you. Okay. Here are my cumin seeds. Whole, untoasted. After I toast them, I put them in the Tupperware and they stay in the cupboard for a couple of weeks. You want to use the toasted seeds though, so they don't go stale. Here are my coriander seeds. I cannot get enough of these. Just absolutely incredible. When you toast them, the aroma is amplified. Here's my dish in the pan, so everybody can see it beautifully. Okay. And that's about it for pasta amore. I can't wait to dig into this, but first I have to answer some questions. If anyone has a question, they have it in the chat. I'm going to go around behind the camera and